Trust me. I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. Obviously, I didn't do enough to win, so I'm gonna make sure we do more than enough.
There was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, like, even the day before, I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night. And I just feel like hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe where he was.
You call a heavy-handed fighter, but Jason, if you watch this fight, you will see a guy that's very slick, who's very confident. And this is the dynamic I think all of us did not take enough account into. Tank is from the DC, Baltimore area, as is Lamont Roach. They have sparred together. They've had amateur bouts together. And when I spoke to Lamont, when there were rumors about this bout, he told me flat out, he goes, Steve.
The tension between Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach is reaching a breaking point as their August 16th rematch creeps closer. The trash talk, it's no longer just for show, it's personal now. At their latest face-off, Tank stormed in and shoved Roach in front of cameras, promoters, and security like he wanted all the smoke. Rumors are flying that Tank's ducking the fight, and with Shakur Stevenson refusing to pick a side, the whole 135 division feels ready to explode. Let's dive in.
Put this out sometime August, September. Are you currently in training camp right now?
I actually leave out for camp next week.
Next week?
Yeah.
How you feeling going into the rematch, Shane?
Like a champ, like I'm supposed to. I've been in the gym. I've been ready. Time to ramp it up, kick it in gear, and get right to work.
I'm gonna ask you a quick question about the fight. The first fight with Tank. What did you see in that fight that can help you propel into the next fight?
I saw all I needed to see.
Their first showdown was messy, but what happened afterward was pure madness. Tank kept his WBA lightweight belt after a majority draw, but most fans and experts felt Roach deserved the win. And then came the shocker. Davis took a knee in round 9, his excuse. Hair grease stung his eyes. But Roach saw something more telling. He thinks that knee exposed Tank's mental cracks under pressure.
Because, he worked with other coaches, so, yeah. But I do know how the fight will be different, the rematch.
With a different strategy.
Yeah, I can't speak on it, but yeah, it's definitely going to be different. Way different.
See, you're smiling and you're excited about it, and you can tell that that's like a coaching thing. That a lot of the fans, they tend to.
Now it's personal. These two are set to settle at once, and for all no more talking. Roach has been relentless, daring Tank to back up his words with action. He's not pulling punches either. In his eyes, Davis is hiding something. When asked if Tank fears him, Roach didn't flinch. I won't say he's scared of me as a man, but he's scared of being embarrassed. That's the key. Roach says, not pain shame.
Mr. Roach too. How do you think this plays out the second time?
Davis is supposed to step up and show the level that he's on.
Right.
And I always say this about boxing. Boxing does itself a disservice by not promoting both sides. I think you did a better job promoting Lamont Roach. People would have expected that fight to be what it ended up being. It was a good boxing match.
Right.
And in a lot of ways entertaining for multiple reasons. But, I think if anything, we know that Lamont is on the Roach of Tank Davis. Now it's time.
Roach has kept the pressure on since March and brought receipts. He posted screenshots showing he signed the rematch contract long ago, calling out Tank for stalling. F you mean pushing. He wrote, my contract already signed and set. Then he dropped the hammer. Only reason we don't fight is cause you scared. Tank's team stayed silent until that press event shove lit the fuse. This isn't promotion anymore, it's war.
Tank Davis, in his recent post, is trying to let the world know he's going to be a completely different fighter. And as you see here, he's posting his black Nike boots. Now, technically, we usually say when you have Nike Air Force Ones, the black ones, that means some sort of bad energy. You're going to bring it. It's a thugging thing. And he's showing the Nike boots and saying it's time. He's going underground. And Lamont Roach.
Even the WBA had to step in. There was real talk of suspending Davis over allegations he was holding up the rematch. A champion ducking a rematch after a draw. That only made Roach's claims feel more legit. But now it's official. Dates set. Locations locked. Las Vegas, August 16th. No more hiding.
How you feeling going into the rematch, Shane?
Like a champ, like I'm supposed to. I've been in the gym. I've been ready. Time to ramp it up, kick it in gear, and get right to work.
I'm asking you a quick question about the fight. The first fight with Tank. What did you see in that fight that can help you propel into the next fight?
I saw all I needed to see in that first fight. Trust me. I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. Obviously, I didn't do enough to win, so I'm gonna make sure we do.
And Roach, he's already looking beyond Tank and letting the world know. After I beat Tank, I'm fighting the winner of Devin Haney and Brian Norman. There you go. He posted, I'm not saying it again. Clip it, save it. That's confidence, not cockiness. For a guy seen as the underdog, Roach is calling his shot like a future champ. He's not just chasing one win, he's chasing a legacy.
I think it's going to be it's going to be a chess match. So I think Tank going to come in. I think his footwork is a little bit better than Roach. I think his movement, stuff like that, is a little bit better. So I think, if he, get Roach out of his rhythm, kind of get him off balance, Tank gonna get him out of there. Not saying Tank can't knock him out now. Don't get it twisted now just because he didn't knock the dude out or whatever. No, don't think he can't. Like I said, I get Roach's props, man. Nothing bad to say about the guy.
Haney's not sold. Word from his camp is that if he beats Norman, he's chasing bigger fish like a Ryan Garcia rematch or even Teofimo Lopez. Roach, he's slick, sure, but doesn't have that crossover appeal. The casual fans don't know his name, and with no real knockout power at 135, he's not the kind of guy you build a pay-per-view around. Even Saudi power broker Turki Alalshik hasn't hinted at giving Roach a shot at 147. Silence says it all.
The reason why I say this fight needs to happen again because both fighters have something to prove. I just saw a tweet from Gervonta Tank Davis saying that he was going to activate the rematch. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Would I like to see this fight happen? Yes, I would like to see a fight happen again because I think that the next fight is going to be a whole lot better. And I think the next fight is going to end with somebody being on the canvas, in my opinion. But I think that Lamont Roach, I want to give a shout out to Lamont Roach for putting up such a amazing performance. We've never seen anyone stand there toe-to-toe with Gervonta Tank Davis.
Analysts think Roach jumping to divisions could be a huge mistake. He's gritty, no doubt, but not a puncher. And against someone like Norman Jr., who hits like a truck, that could get ugly. Roach has skills, but Norman's dropped tougher. Guys, if Lamont can't take that kind of heat, fans say it's a mismatch just waiting to happen. So far, people aren't exactly buying into the underdog story.
Didn't give me the win, and I have room. I definitely have room. I'm not gonna lie, I have room.
You believe you fought the best Gervonta, or do you think he got some more gear?
100% for a fact. I think he might have some more gears, but I fought the best Gervonta that night. I don't want people to get it misconstrued or whatever the case may be. He's a hell of a fighter. Hell of an IQ, great punching power, good speed, and a really good boxing ability. A lot of people underrate.
Still, Roach has the spotlight now. He's making the most of it. Tank's across from him again, and this is Roach's shot to prove March wasn't a fluke. That 9th round, it shifted everything. One jab, and Tank dropped, looking to his corner. He blamed it on grease, but the ref didn't stop the clock, didn't give a knockdown, didn't call a foul. The crowd felt the fight turn right there. That draw sparked outrage and now it's time to settle the score.
How many rematches have you fought?
0.
What do you have to do to create enough separation where this don't happen again?
Whew, that's a good question. It's going to be based on my training camp. I have to push myself a little harder if that didn't give me the win. And I have room. I definitely have room. I'm not going.
But that wild face-off, it changed the whole energy. Tank didn't look calm, he looked triggered. That shove didn't feel like hype. It felt real, raw. Roach stood tall, didn't even blink. No pushback. His camp stayed locked in. They think Tank's losing his grip. No words, skipped interviews, letting his hands talk instead. It's like Davis is spiraling under pressure. And it's all playing out in public.
Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, the rematch is on. Lamont Roach fought a perfect fight. Gervonta didn't look so great. In the rematch, Gervonta can do a lot more better. Roach can't. Gervonta may win this one.
Roach, though, he's just focused on fight night August 16th. No chaos, no drama, just the rematch. Even though Davis still hasn't signed, Roach says his side's locked and loaded. That unsigned contract, it's casting a shadow over everything. And with Tank keeping quiet 1 minute, then lashing out the next, people are starting to wonder, does he even want this? Or is someone else pulling the strings?
He loves to come there and entertain the fan. He's not there to play around. He's trying to smoke you. That's what life's supposed to be about. Roach is not just your average everyday opponent. Roach is a person who knows Tank, who been around Tank his whole life. This is a different fight. You can't put Roach to the side like that. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to win the fight. I don't know that. But Roach cannot be this underrated like that. You understand? You got to understand that Roach came from basically the same ecosystem as Tank came from. Roach is a very formidable opponent. So I'm not going to talk about none of that till we get by Roach, because what I'm telling you about the other stuff don't really...
So, is Tank actually scared? Roach thinks it's deeper than that. He's not calling Davis a coward, but he says the fear is real. Not of getting hurt, of getting clowned. I wouldn't say he's scared of me as a man, but he's scared. To get embarrassed, Roach repeated. That's his problem. That word embarrassed is Roach's go-to jab, because in his mind, Tank isn't running from a fight. He's running from shame. And that's a harder battle to win.
I think Gervonta had a bad night. I look for a tough fight in the next fight, but I still see Gervonta winning. I think Gervonta will win in a little easier this time. But Roach is a heck of a fighter. He's going to give everybody a hard, anybody that fights is going to give a hard time. But I do think that Davis had an off night.
I spoke to Eddie Hearn and he said he wanted to make the Shakur Tank fight straight away. Obviously now Tank's going into the rematch. That won't happen yet. But when it does happen, Eddie's still adamant that could...
And Roach isn't waiting on Tank to sign anything. He's already mapping out his next moves. Asked about the upcoming Canelo versus Crawford clash in September, Roach didn't hesitate to answer. But then, he quickly steered it back to himself. He's laser focused on staying in the spotlight and wants to stay linked with boxing's elite. He's made it clear after Tank. He's eyeing the Haney versus Norman winner. Some say he's reaching, but the noise is working. Even WBC champ Shakur Stevenson is now circling the story.
How you think one coming up with
I
Tank
hope he
and
don't
Roach?
fight Lamont, actually. Like, I hope he don't get in the ring with him again. Because at the end of the day, if he lose, it's just going to look bad on the fight with me. So, it's going to look like somebody else already did it.
You want Tank to knock you out, yo? I want to fight Tank, and that's nice, but why do you want Tank to knock you out so bad? Like,
Look, that sound good. That sound real good, but she's too little.
Too little.
I promise you.
In an interview with KO Artist Sports, Stevenson surprised a lot of people by backing Roach. Tank's a hell of a fighter. Lamont is a hell of a fighter. Hopefully me and the winner can fight, he said. I like Lamont in the rematch. For context, Stevenson and Roach have actually sparred before. He helped me get ready for Valdez, Shakur explained. I know what his style can do against Tank. Both guys are the real deal in this fight. It's shaping up to be a real war. As for Tank, Shakur says he hasn't changed.
People just don't like Tank to a point where any little thing, just because he ain't knock him out, he probably feel like pulling though that he lost and he didn't, or it was a draw. I feel like Tank was doing a lot of smart things in the beginning, moving a little bit too much, but I feel like he was still like frustrating him and things like that. And I think Tank did a good job. Like, he looked sharp to me. And I don't know, people just be talking. At the end of the day, you can't please everybody.
Were you surprised? Meanwhile, as Roach, Haney, and Shakur keep it real in interviews, Tank's been acting different. He's posting strange, cryptic stuff on X. I don't care for boxing. Y'all can have the #1 spot, he wrote. For a guy who built his brand around being untouchable, that line stunned fans. Some even think he's teasing retirement. Then came another post. We will visit that house in Upper Marlboro. No one knows what that even means, but it doesn't sound like a fighter locked in on Roach.
Like the betting me that he gonna knock me out and stuff like that. That didn't go too well for him.
Did y'all bet?
Oh, we bet and we shook on it.
He paid up?
He changed his number. Again, there's a high level of mutual respect for each other. Like I said, we bumped into each other plenty of times. More than the average boxer would see another.
One fan didn't hold back and fired off. Boxing doesn't even need you anymore. Tank clapped back with LOL. Boxing not entertaining enough without me D. That one sentence says a lot. On the surface, it's Tank being Tank cocky. But underneath, it sounds like a guy who thinks he's bigger than the sport, bigger than the fights he still hasn't signed for. And that's rubbing fans the wrong way. He's only gone the distance 3 times in 31 fights, but the Roach draw, that changed everything.
Going on in Tank's camp and, training with this person, training with that person.
Yeah.
Who has the edge heading into the rematch?
Neither one of them. Lamont, you know what? I'm lying. 55-45, Lamont.
Why?
Lamont got the edge because he already did the unexpected. He was supposed to get knocked out coming up from 130. And not only did he not get knocked out, he performed. and possibly won the fight. That's what some people believe. I thought it was a very close fight. I think, but after you asked me that question, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I think Lamont do have a slight.
Roach isn't letting it slide. He hit back online with a Tupac clip yelling, "This guy's scared." Tank answered with pure venom, "UAB. I can meet you at your son's school if you want." Roach clapped back, "I can meet you at your CP2. Got your alias, Addy. It's gone way past fight promo now. This is personal, real personal. These two aren't just fighting for a belt, they're fighting for respect, legacy, and something way deeper than hype. This feud is as real as it gets."
I want to see is the fight that the fans keep calling on, so that's why I'm saying it. But with him, it just seemed like, he on some little girl shit to where it's like, he feel as though you chasing after him, or like I need him or some shit. Like, nigga, I don't.
While things between Roach and Tank get messier, other fights are falling apart. That rumored Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis showdown, scrapped because of Roach's rematch clause. Jake told Ariel Helwani they were on the 1 yard line, but Tank had to take care of business first. Paul didn't seem too bothered. "That's boxing," he shrugged. Then he threw shade like only Jake can. "I never thought Tank was that good. Always saw holes in his game."
After Canelo, obviously, didn't materialize, was the next one Tank?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was on the 1 yard line as well, but he has to rematch, Lamont Roach. He wants to get that back. And then we'll be back in discussions with Mr. Gervonta. But, man, this is the nature of boxing. You have massive fights on the 1 yard line and things just fall through.
As you're watching it, like, he was a gigantic favorite.
And that jab hits harder coming from someone still labeled a YouTuber by boxing purists. But Jake Paul's fan base is massive, and when he talks, people listen. If Tank dominates Roach, Jake's comments will fade. But if the fight's close or worse, if Tank loses, those words will echo loud. Tank's loyal fans are still riding with him, but the armor's cracking. Even Shakur Stevenson seems over. His latest interview with Fight Hype made that crystal clear.
What does the rematch look like between Lamont and Gervonta?
I like Lamont in the rematch.
I think you were one of the few that kind of picked Lamont to begin with. Why was that?
I sparred with Lamont. I knew that he was a good fighter. He helped me get ready for the Oscar Valdez fight. And I knew his style, with Tank's style, what he was going to be able to bring to the table. I knew it. So,
did you really win 20?
I swear to God, on my daughter's life, I won that much money.
How different does...
I'm done saying it 100 times. I still want the fight, but I'm not chasing a guy acting like a little girl. Stevenson snapped. For him, it's not about fame, it's legacy. "I don't need you. I'm already filthy rich," he said bluntly. The tone has shifted. Shakur isn't begging for big names anymore. He wants greatness, but not if it means losing self-respect in the process. The gloves are officially off.
Like, he got a lot of boos from that. A lot of people wasn't really feeling that. Do you feel like he'll fight better this next fight?
I think so, for sure. And, you had mentioned that they've known each other since childhood.
Yeah.
So maybe that had something to do with that first fight. But now they've fought, they've gotten that experience out of the way. So I think we're going to see both of them a lot more.
Way better, yeah.
And that's the situation Tank's in now, boxed in from all sides. Roach is locked in and ready. Stevenson wants the smoke, but he's done chasing. Jake Paul was nearly a done deal until the rematch clause stopped it cold. And through all of it, Tank keeps jumping from silence to chaos online. So now the question's on you: what's really going on with Tank Davis? Drop your thoughts below and hit subscribe if you want more of this Fight Night fire.